Hello ladies and gents, Dune is smashing it. It really is. I don't know why, when I say that, it seems to really offend people, and so many people jump in without having watched the video and go, you're wrong, 40 million opening weekend's terrible, 80 million's terrible. Calm down. Like, seriously, just calm down. It's doing really, really well for the limited markets it's released in. It's being released in no markets that don't do that much money, right? And it is smashing it in those markets. It is. It's doing really, really well. So, yeah, you read from the title, and I sort of dropped it just there as well. It has hit now close to 80 million. If not, it has hit it now. Because this information was released yesterday. Obviously, you know, close of play on Sunday, it may have gone up a little bit more. But it's done really, really well. Much better, and this is coming from someone that wants the film to do well, better than I thought it was going to do. I didn't think it was going to take anywhere near this much money. And now having secured its Chinese release, which was kind of always guaranteed to a certain degree, mainly because it's owned by Legendary is owned by like the Wanda Group, Wanda Company. Now it's secured that, we know it's going to do really, really well. I don't know whether it will make its money back. We don't know. But that's not a guarantee in terms of it securing its second movie anyway, because Warner Brothers has essentially come out and said, well, if it does well on HBO Max, sure, might get a green light. Although, I don't know how they're the ones deciding that, because if you didn't know, Legendary are the ones which finance 75% of this. So I'm a bit confused with where the information's coming from, you know, with respect to, well, if it does well on HBO Max, that'll secure its future. It's like, how? I don't understand, because Warner Brothers only puts up 25% and chooses to distribute it for Legendary. Bit of a peculiar one, but let's dive into it. This is a great article from Deadline. And they just break it all down, and it's really, really well done. So Warner Brothers Legendary's Dune continued its spicy run at the international box office this weekend, adding a further 26.3 million on top of everything else, which was from 32 markets, because it had opened in 24. So it opened into, like another 8 markets. 24? 32? 8 markets. So it's doing well. It's doing really, really well. And to hit another 26.3 million from the markets it had already opened up in, plus more money from new markets, it's not bad. That's not bad at all. Now that lifts the offshore total to 76.5 million. And that's really good as well. Really, really good. It seems strange that they're saying, oh, the offshore markets, that's the only market that's opening. But this is the mainstream media feed. They only count the box office of the US. That's their domestic, despite, you know, the rest of the world being great markets as well. To quote the Denis Villeneuve-directed film, this is only the beginning, as a sci-fi epic is in early overseas release with many key areas to come. And that's the other thing. I'm very glad they pointed this out, ladies and gents. I'm really, really glad that they pointed this out, because there is so many more markets to open up in, and for it to hit nearly 80 million... that's great. That's really good. That's great. That's really, really, really fantastic. I was going to make a bit of a joke then, but I'm not, because it's really, really good. Now, they say that the overall drop from opening was actually only 32%. That's staggeringly good. That's a fantastic drop. Like, that's really, really, really good. Now, in like-for-like markets and at today's rates, the world-building saga is running ahead of all competition, from Tenet plus 12% to Black Widow plus 49%, Shang-Chi plus 64%, and Blade Runner plus 73%, and Godzilla plus 87%. It is absolutely obliterating it. And quite rightly so. I mean, I haven't seen it, but everyone who has seen it has said it's fantastic. Again, I'm a little biased. I want this film to be very good. To me, it hopefully will signify a great future for these types of movies that I have long waited for. Please, give me more movies like this. Anyway, now these are the markets that are new, and then it also breaks down the drop-off, right? So new this session were the Middle East hubs with the United Arab Emirates. Jesus, I need some more coffee. Taking in $1 million. I don't understand. That's nothing. I'm surprised it took so few, genuinely. And that's coming in 68% ahead of Denis Villeneuve's 2017 Blade Runner. So I guess that has actually done really, really well, to be fair, for a place like that. Saudi Arabia produced just under a million with $969,000, tracking on par with Free Guy. Saudi is the 5th biggest market overall on the latter film. Cool, I guess. Now, the great individual holds were actually seen in such markets as the Netherlands, Denmark. So, Netherlands only dropped by 12%. Fantastic. That's really good. It means word of mouth is good there, right? Now, if word of mouth is good there, you can, obviously, cultural, tastes are different. But it's good word of mouth there. That was strong indication there's going to be a good word of mouth elsewhere. Denmark, minus 17%. Finland, minus 22%. Again, all that's word of mouth. All of that is word of mouth. And Germany, minus 23%. Fantastic. Really, really good. Fantastic stuff. You just can't argue with it. That's awesome. Genuinely, really, really, really good. Now we have this. So Dune held #1 in all majors where it was released. That's in Russia, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, and is throwing off strong numbers in those markets with holds better than minus 40%. The top 5 to date are Russia, 15 million, France, 13.4 million, hardly a surprise, they have pretty big lockdown rules. Germany, 10.2 million, Italy, 5.1 million, hardly a surprise. Italy was in Europe was one of the worst hit by the COVID pandemic. And Spain, 4.9 million. Really, really, really good. All those fantastic numbers. Russia's doing really well. Surprised by that, because they weren't huge actually in the opening weekend. It didn't seem anyway. Now in IMAX, Dune added 3.1 million with a per screen average of nearly $20,000. That's great. On 167 screens. No screens at all. Barely any screens, really. And that's going to only get bigger. Much bigger. Because where are you going to want to watch this film? On IMAX. UK is going to open up soon. IMAX screens. USA is going to open up soon. IMAX screens. Australia's in an absolute shit fit at the moment. You guys ain't seeing it for ages. But that's great. Like, you can't argue with that. Especially strong holds were in Sweden. 0%. Wow. Finland, minus 3%. Netherlands, this is just for IMAX, by the way. So it goes to show they have better taste. They're like, oh, where should we watch this movie? IMAX. Or maybe it only opened in IMAX. I don't know, I don't care. It's just funny. I like it. Denmark and Taiwan, minus 6%. Germany, minus 16%. Spain, Italy, and Singapore, minus 21%. And Hong Kong, minus 32%. So really, really good. In Russia, Dune dropped only 29% in IMAX to become the highest grossing IMAX movie of the pandemic after only 11 days. Pretty good. Again, doesn't really mean that much though. It's like, oh, new record because of pandemic. Shut up. No one cares. Like, that's not special. You know, it's not special. The pandemic's a handicap. Just to say you're breaking a record with respect to the pandemic. Not something to be proud of. Alright? Not something to be proud of. With 1.7 million from just 50 screens, the overseas IMAX cume is now 8.2 million. Representing nearly 12% of the total box office so far, and before the rest of the world joins the battle with House of Atreides. Really good. Now, here we go. So Dune will continue to play over the next 2 weeks, but sit out new openings as it makes its way for MGM Universal's James Bond, Pick No Time to Die, which starts offshore rollout on September 29th, as well as Sony Marvel's Venom, Let There Be Carnage, which begins rollout next week, notably in Russia. Dune's next release are in mid-October, including Japan on October 15th, and followed by the UK, Korea, and others the weekend of October 20th. Domestic opens October 22nd, day and date with HBO Max, and also day and date with China. So it'll be very interesting to see how this starts to shift and change when there's another movie released in the interim. Especially in the UK, actually. It'll be interesting to see where people sort of tastes lie, I guess, with respect to, James Bond and then Dune, and see where they're looking to spend their money. People in the UK want to be out and about at the moment. You can see it. We don't have specific lockdowns at the moment. So people do want to be out and about, and people are sick of everything. So it'll be interesting to see. It genuinely will be interesting to see, and we've done pretty well. Every time I've gone to the theatre, it's been very busy actually, and again, that's nice to see for me as someone who loves the theatre. It's reassuring. It's nice to see it. I know some guys that comment on this channel seem to be offended by that concept, that people like to go to the theatre still. I know we're dinosaurs. I've got white hair. Shock. But it is what it is. I want to go to the theatre, and it's nice to see it being busy. So what do you guys think of this? Let me know down below. Nearly 80 million Fantastic. I'll offend you once more. Fantastic take. And it really is. Why? Because it's opening fuck all. Like, literally nowhere's open. Nowhere is it being run. The moment it opens up in the biggest markets, great. Absolutely fantastic. It's going to blow up. Still don't think it's going to make its money back. It's going to blow up. Cheers, guys. Take care.